So next to me is the all-new 2025 Toyota Camry. Now, in my opinion, I think the new Camry might be the absolute best economy car you can buy. Now, I say the word economy car a little loosely, basically because you can buy a Camry under $30,000. And in today's market, where the average price of a new car is closer to $45,000, this seems like an absolute bargain. Now, this only comes with a hybrid drivetrain, and you can get about 50 miles per gallon throughout the spectrum. And then as far as price goes, this one is an XSE with a premium package and an upgraded wheel package for $41,000. But honestly, for about 33 grand, you can get a nicely equipped SE model with a lot of great features. Now, while some of the Camry purists might be a little upset that the V6 is gone and only option is a 4-cylinder hybrid, I don't think that's really something to be concerned about. Toyota's been doing hybrids for over 2 decades. They are incredibly reliable. So honestly, I have high hopes that this car will hit 200,000 to 300,000 miles without thinking just like the old V6, but you're getting the benefits of a more economical drivetrain and a little bit more usable power from the electronic motors. So underneath the hood, you're gonna find a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder motor with a hybrid system. You can get this car either standard with front wheel drive or available is all-wheel drive. For the front-wheel drive cars, net horsepower is 225, and then for all-wheel drive cars, net horsepower is 232. The Camry also weighs in at 3,600 pounds and runs on a 13-gallon fuel tank. This XSE, as tested, MPG is 48 miles per gallon in the highway and 47 in the city. Moving on to the styling. Now, not everybody is liking this cheese grater style for the front grille. Honestly, I think it looks super cool with the body color. It just makes this car look a little bit more unique. Other trim levels, you can get this in black, but you do have kind of a Prius design up here with the LED headlights. They do look really sleek, especially with the blacked out design fading into this upper grille. There are LED lights on the side corners with these cool air intake ducts, and then a pretty stylish front end design with an aggressive lower splitter. Now, at the side profile of the all-new 2025 Camry, it kind of looks exactly like what you would expect. It's a nice mid-size sedan, very good proportions just like in the previous generation, but you do get the addition to some sharper body lines. And like I said, these 19-inch wheels, the upgraded wheels, look pretty cool on it. There's also a black roof for the full panoramic sunroof. And then when we move to the rear end of the 2025 Camry, I like how it kind of matches in the front. You're gonna see these nice aggressive LED taillights with the same design where it kind of cuts into it with the bodywork. This one actually does have full LED all around. Lower trim levels are still gonna have a halogen bulb for the turn signals. Wouldn't be a classic Toyota without at least having that available. Now, you have some nice sharp body lines, and once again, like we saw in that front bumper, you have a pretty cool rear diffuser in body color to add that aggressive style. There is a dual exhaust tip, which some people have said is a fake exhaust tip. It's actually real. There's a real muffler connected to it. It's a real dual exhaust. The farthest pipe is kind of just added on to the normal pipe, but nonetheless, it looks kind of good. Got blacked out Camry, and then even a small spoiler up on the trunk. So moving on to the interior now with the 2025 Toyota Camry, I think they have done a really good job sprucing it up, making it feel more up to date without being complicated. I think Toyota owners like a simple interior. There are physical climate controls throughout the center to where you don't have to always go into the screen to make any adjustment. They're all readily available. On top of that, there is great storage solutions all throughout, and you can even drive this car in an EV mode for slower speeds. Now, this car isn't designed to have a range of electric driving like plug-in hybrids will, or of course electric cars. But slow speed parking lots, you're able to zip around with the motor, and then once you're driving up to a certain speed, or if you give it too much throttle, the engine of course will kick in. You have a nice multimedia screen in the center, 12.3 inches, with all your basic stuff a Toyota car is gonna have. Pretty nice to see, massive navigation screen once set up, and a really HD backup camera. Gauge cluster too, it's not overly complicated, and yet it's modern looking with the digital design with a pretty good amount of information all throughout it. Steering wheel looks good with the black leather, and there's a little bit of black trim to it with all your controls. And these seats for the XSE are actually genuine leather. They're heated and ventilated, very comfortable and padded. I mean, this is a car at 5'11". I'm sitting here, great headroom, legroom, arm room, and yet there are so many more configurations with the seat and steering wheel to accommodate several different body shapes and sizes. So I feel like it's a very well-fitting interior for most buyers. I like the overall style too, with the leather on the door panel, padded on the driver's armrest. You have a soft touch material on the dashboard, and I love the cool kind of great design to that passenger air vent into the screen. It looks really cool how just seamless everything looks, and then you get a little bit more of that leather trim coming down underneath it. Panoramic sunroof as well, garage door button, dome lights. I don't think you can really complain with the interior. And then moving on to the back seats, the Camry is a mid-size sedan, so it's not the smallest, not really the biggest either, but I think it's a perfect size. Again, at 5'11", I sit back here with the driver's seat at my height. I have a couple inches of knee room. My feet fit fine. Armrest on the left side is really nice. One slight drawback, they don't use as nice of materials back here as they do up front. So you get some plastic on the upper door rather than the soft touch plastic. Now, the center seat, you can pull this down. You got a nice little armrest with 2 cup holders. There are climate vents back here, 2 different USB ports, storage on the back side of the seats, and the recline and seat base are at a good angle to where I'm fitting here nice and comfortably. I think I could honestly sit back here for many hours on a road trip, which makes this an even more practical car. And then of course for trunk space, there is even a button on the back here. You can manually open that up and you got 15.1 cubic feet of cargo space. As you can tell, plenty of space. The seats will also fold down nice and flat, pulling those pull tabs, and you're gonna make this car even more practical with the space into the cabin area. So what is it like driving in the Toyota Camry? Now that it is only a hybrid, there's only one option. You used to have some smaller 4-cylinders. There was a V6 available back in the day. That's all gone. So with this, when you give it some throttle, this car is actually pretty darn peppy. The electric motor gives you that low end torque, and being a good sized 4-cylinder, I mean, it actually has some power to where it's not a sluggish, slow car. And I don't even want to call this an economy car, but you can get this for economy car pricing, and yet it feels like a very nice car overall. You know, I've checked out the SE, which is about $32,000, and it basically is the same car as this, just with the synthetic leather really and a few less options. So I like how the Toyota Camry kind of offers you a really nice car on a budget. You can enjoy a more economy focused car with the efficiency and the price point, but you don't have to sacrifice and get a car you don't want to actually drive. So I really like the power you get out of the hybrid. The efficiency is fantastic, and it's just an easy to drive, nice car. These seats are comfortable. I mean, you could literally sit here for many, many hours, do several hundred miles in a day, and just be happy you're in this car. Visibility is pretty good as well. The rear seat headrests are a little large, so I wouldn't mind them being smaller to look over your right shoulder, but overall it seems like a decently refined car too. While this isn't a European car or of course a Lexus or anything, I feel a little bit of the Lexus touch in this car to where it feels premium, it's quiet, it's comfortable, kind of glides over bumps. It does have a sport tuned suspension for this particular specification, but it's not backbreaking or anything like that. So it's a car you can drive and be comfortable in. There's plenty of room, storage solutions, great materials all around that you touch. So I'm a pretty big fan. You know, of course I like the performance cars, the fast cars, things like that. You know, if I were to buy a sedan for myself, I'd probably go with an M3 Competition. But if I actually had a daily driving job where I was always, you know, commuting to work and things like that, honestly, I think I would pick up a Camry as my daily, just because they're affordable and it's a car that I can drive. And whether or not I'm used to, you know, more expensive luxury brand cars, I can drive this and like it, which I think that says a lot about what Camry is now offering. It's not just an old school feeling car that's kind of dated. It's a nice modern car that has a little bit of an extra touch to it, to where you can enjoy driving it and just like it. The power is definitely pretty fun. And hitting bumps, this car is pretty darn solid. So if you're in the market for a really nice hybrid, I think this is the way to go. In fact, if you don't even care about the hybrid aspect, if you just want a nice daily driver commuter car, I think the new Camry is probably one of the absolute best options. And given it's a Toyota, they've been doing hybrids for over 2 decades, I think reliability is going to be solid. This car isn't really stressing the engine at all, given you have the electric assist in the slow RPM. So I think it's something you can get on board with and just rack up the miles and have a smile on and enjoy the efficiency, enjoy the low cost of ownership, and just have a really solid car overall with no real sacrifices. So ending thoughts with the all-new 2025 Toyota Camry. Honestly, I think this is going to be a very successful platform. In general, the Camry has been one of the absolute best-selling cars in the USA, and I can see why. People love the dependability, the price point, and the fact that it's just a fantastic daily. This most up-to-date one, I think, finally has all the modern technology that we've been grown accustomed to with new cars these days, where the old one was just kind of lacking. And it has a modern enough drivetrain to where it's still relatively simple, and yet it's going to be robust and extremely economical. My favorite aspect with this new Camry, even toning it down to an SE model that I've checked out a few times, is as an enthusiast who likes the more European expensive performance sedans, this is a car I can drive, and honestly I like being in it. If I was commuting every single day to work, I think this is something to go for. I think Toyota offers you plenty of trim levels to get a very economical one closer to 30 grand, or you can get more sporty versions, more luxury versions, all still well within a reasonable price range for the average consumer. So I think they've done a good job kind of appealing to a huge market, to where whether you are a daily driver kind of person, not a car person, a car enthusiast person, I think one of these could fit your needs if you truly need a car that you can rack up miles on, be comfortable in, enjoy driving, and know that you can depend on. But there is a full look at the 2025 Camry. The XSE is a pretty cool specification. Comment below, which trim level would you buy, and do you think the Camry is the best economical car in today's market?